Another common responsibility of a coach is knowledge of the coaching environment. This means the coach must be aware of the regulations, rules, safety, development and pathways this brings. It underpins the pathway and can assist different coaches to learn more about the environment to adapt. Higher qualifications can improve this. You need these to be aware of the regulations, improve knowledge and skills, enabling players to move on and for your coaching career to develop. As a coach, you must know the latest rules and regulations within the sport you are coaching and relate and translate them to new players in order for them to understand and improve their skills. Also, have knowledge of the environment can involve knowing first aid kit so there's no panic or confusion if someone gets injured. Another thing is if session is outside, the conditions can get into a state where the coach feels that they should get some shelter. Good to know where the nearest shelter is so that everyone can get there safely. Finally, knowing where the toilets are is good for a coach because if someone needs to go, then it decreases the time they are away from the session. Knowing the coaching environment is crucial because you need to know everything for the risk assessment, and you need to know any changes in legislation for that sport. For example, if in rugby there is a change within some regulations, you need to know that because it may relate to a safety issue as this is a high risk sport. You would use this because if you don't know how to play and you don't know the legislations, you won't be able to adapt the players for performance and improve their skills. Knowledge of the environment you are coaching in is also crucial for any coach. For example, if you're in a sports school, you need to know what the risks are. If you're outside on a grass pitch, you need to know the risks. Especially for a swimming coach, it is crucial. For example, we have John Rudd, the England swimming coach, and he needs to know the regulations of the pool side and within the pool. He needs to know the depth of the pool, the temperature of the pool, and all the features outside and around the pool. This will benefit him because if he is teaching a novice level, he can work at a shallower end of the pool, or if he's working with the elite squad, he can work at the deeper end of the pool. Therefore, this will benefit the athletes and the coach's career. Knowing the rules around the pool will also allow the athletes to stick to these rules, ensuring safety is maintained at all times. And the coaching environment also relates to the rules and regulations of the swimming environment. For example, if a certain age group is only allowed to swim a certain distance, then this is what they will train for, and there is no point in training for more or less than what you will be competing at. So this can also help with the knowledge of coaching environment. Peter Moores, England cricket coach, will have put these responsibilities in a similar order to what is on the screen. His first responsibility would be health and safety, as cricket is a high-risk sport. Therefore, he will have to maintain health and safety, ensuring the equipment and the environment is safe to play in. Also, the knowledge of the sport will come next to ensure that safety is maintained at all times, because cricket is once again a high-risk sport. Therefore, if someone was to get hit by a ball or struck by a bat, this could cause injury. Next, he will relate to professional conduct. This is because he is working with an elite team, so therefore it will not be as high in the order of responsibilities as all the participants within the session will be of a professional standard. And lastly, he will allow equal opportunities because all the teams are already at the same level, all the participants are already at the same level, therefore all their opportunities are equal because they have got to this level. Secondly, we have John Rudd, England swimming coach. His first responsibility is also health and safety because swimming is another high risk sport within the water, therefore someone has a risk of drowning. His second responsibility will be professional conduct because he has to remain professional because people within the swimming industry have limited clothing on, therefore he will have to maintain professional conduct around them to ensure his safety is maintained and there is not a risk of anything to the participants. The knowledge of the coaching environment comes third because this is important. However, ensuring safety and professional conduct around the pool comes first. The reason knowledge of the environment is third is because participants already know the safety issues with the pool at this level, therefore they do not need to be reiterated every second of a session. And lastly comes equal opportunities, because he is working with an elite squad, therefore they all have the same opportunities within this team because they are at such a high level. Next we have Amanda Reddin, the gymnastics coach. Health and safety will come first in gymnastics because once again it is a high risk sport, and if something has to go wrong there is a high risk of injury. Second is professional conduct, because once again there is very vulnerable participants within this sport. They once again have limited clothing on, and the squad may have young members in it, therefore maintaining safeguarding rules and regulations is crucial. Next we have knowledge of the coaching environment, because once again the knowledge of the equipment and facilities is already known by the participants because they are at such a high level, therefore they know these regulations to be already competing at this level. And lastly is equal opportunities, again because all the participants have an equal opportunity because they're already at the top level. And next we have Sally Shutt, table tennis coach. Her first responsibility is knowledge of the environment, because table tennis there is lots of equipment out constantly, therefore having knowledge of how to use this and when to use this is crucial. Also, the rules and regulations and laws of the sport can change from day to day depending on the national governing body, therefore she needs to be aware of any changes within this that can affect the performance at a competition. Second, her responsibility is equal opportunities, because there is always up and coming table tennis players, therefore she needs to ensure that whether they are new or old elite players, they all have the same opportunity. Health and safety must be maintained, because there once again is lots of equipment out constantly, and there is bats and balls flying around all the time, therefore maintaining health and safety ensures that everyone is safe and no one is to get struck by a ball or a bat. The tables are also under the health and safety regulations to ensure that these will not collapse whilst the participant is taking part on it. And lastly is professional conduct. This is because at such a high level all the table tennis players are participating in a low risk sport, therefore the professional conduct is not always crucial, because during training you can maybe be able to have a laugh and a joke as there is no risks that are high. Next we have the skills of a coach. There are 3 common skills that all coaches need. However, these are communication, organisation and time management. Communication can be described as verbal and non-verbal. It must be loud and clear. You must be confident within your communication, and body language and hand signals contribute towards your communication. You need good communication to address people with deafness or different languages. It's good when dealing with big groups, and you can be heard from a sideline when on a pitch, and to be confident with new people and enforce appropriate discipline. You also allow interaction with participants. Verbal communication is talking to the players and getting your point across using words. Non-verbal is getting your point across using actions or hand movements. Your tone is also crucial when talking to anyone. Tone is the way in which you say things. Therefore, a coach needs to change their tone of voice depending on who they're talking to and what they're saying. Tone can show enthusiasm and it can show more discipline. Therefore, having the correct tone for the correct situation is crucial. And also the volume of your communication is important, because you would not want to shout at a small group of young participants. However, if you're on a big pitch with elite level athletes, you may want to raise your voice a little more. You would use this because a coach would use different ways of communication to get a point across depending on the situation, and this will allow players to improve whether on or off the pitch or in a training session or a competition. They would need to be able to use all kinds of communication so everyone in the team and anyone at each level can understand. If the coach does not change their pitch or tone, it can make the situation slightly awkward, as they may have a tone in which they want to tell someone off, but actually they are praising them, which can annoy the player or make them happy. Along with communication comes body language. You want to, within your body language, you want to stand approachable and open. So you may have your arms out of your pockets, having hand gestures, and not stood there with your arms crossed, all closed in. Another skill is organisation. This is planning sessions and preparation, being punctual, confident, and having those people skills. You will not be stressed or panicked. You know what to do, and it can be a lot safer within the environment. If you're on time, the sessions will not be rushed, they'll be more relaxed. Confidence in your own planning and organisation to ensure success is also critical. Having people skills will also allow you to receive ideas and advice within your coaching. Organisation will also come under planning your session, the equipment you need, how many staff you need, and the contingency plan. It's important because you have to turn up into a session not having done any planning. The session may go wrong, safety will become compromised, and it may be a waste of time you being there. However, if the coach turns up with the right equipment and a plan, you're able to go ahead with the session and everyone will enjoy it and it will become more beneficial. An example of organisation is somebody who has the ability to plan and deliver a good session with staff knowing what they're doing. These include equipment, first aid and contingency plans. You would use this because participants would not get hurt within the session as you know what you're doing, and if the risk assessment hasn't been done, then it will compromise any safety. Another skill is time management. This comes with experience and practice, knowledge of the group size, learning styles, and players' fitness. People may take longer than others, therefore you need to know everyone in the group. People may learn quicker than lots of others. Fitness levels can mean more or less breaks depending on who is in the group. Abilities levels are different, therefore you may need to have different skills or more or less time practicing these. And experiences mean more knowledge of timings, therefore you know how long everyone will take to learn. Timing within a session is crucial because you will need time to have your warm-up, and this is the 3 parts of the warm-up, and then you will need time for a skill drill and then maybe a game situation. And if you do not plan the timings correctly, you can compromise the session, meaning you may not have time for a proper cool down or you may not have time for a gameplay during the session, which can annoy some participants. Having time management will also allow you to put progressions into your session and therefore allowing everyone to benefit more from the session. When delivering a session, you need to ensure you deliver the full hour or however long the time period is. If you were to finish half an hour early, you may compromise your job as a coach. Finishing the session early or late can also compromise any goals you've set as a coach for the group of participants, and it may also affect the participants' individuals' goals and aims. You need time management because without this it will become disorganised, safety will be compromised, and participants may not want to attend your session again. An example of this is time management. If someone is keeping track and using time effectively, leaving enough time for the progressions to take place in the sessions, allowing you to develop your players' skills.